Lady Evelina stood at the edge of the castle's highest balcony, her silhouette outlined by the ghostly moonlight filtering through the swirling mist. The wind whispered secrets through the ancient stone walls, carrying the faintest echoes of laughter, battle cries, and promises long broken. Her fingers trembled as they brushed the cold iron railing, a stark contrast to the fire burning in her emerald eyes. She had returned home, not as the ruthless noblewoman who had once cast aside those who trusted her, but as a woman haunted by the ghosts of her own decisions. Beneath her, the sprawling castle lay shrouded in shadows, its once vibrant halls, now silent but for the whispers of memories and regrets. Behind her, the heavy oak door creaked open. A soft voice, filled with both longing and reproach, called her name, Evelina. She turned slowly, her breath catching. There, in the dim candlelight of the hallway, stood a figure both familiar and impossible, Captain Dorian. His form was ethereal, shimmering like morning mist, yet his gaze burned with the intensity of 1,000 unspoken words. "You shouldn't have come back here," he said, his voice low and charged with emotion. Her heart ached, not just for the pain she saw etched on his spectral face, but for the love she had betrayed. "I had to," she whispered, "to face what I left behind." Dorian stepped closer, the distance between them charged with years of pain, passion, and lost chances. "Do you know what you did to us? To me?" His voice trembled, a mix of anger and longing. "I betrayed you all. I sent you to die to save myself." Her confession hung in the air, heavier than the ancient stones themselves. Dorian's form flickered as he reached out, his hand passing through hers but sending a shock of cold fire through her veins. "I never stopped loving you," he breathed. Evelina's breath hitched, her defenses crumbling. "I am haunted not just by your ghosts, but by my love for you." Their eyes locked, and in that charged silence, a delicate thread of hope began to weave through the darkness. But outside the walls, other restless spirits stirred. Soldiers bound by betrayal, hungry for vengeance and the redemption only Evelina could grant. As the first whispers of dawn crept across the horizon, Evelina knew this was only the beginning of a night filled with haunted desires, dangerous secrets, and a love that would defy even death itself. The flickering candlelight cast long, wavering shadows along the stone walls of the ancient castle, wrapping the great hall in an eerie, seductive glow. Evelina moved quietly, her footsteps light but purposeful, as if each step drew her closer, not only to the ghosts that haunted these halls, but to the truth she desperately sought to face. Captain Dorian followed silently behind her, his presence a constant warmth against the cold chill of the castle. Though his form was still ghostly, the bond between them was tangible, electric, and undeniable. "I never imagined I'd see you again," Evelina murmured, her voice barely above a whisper as they paused in front of a massive tapestry depicting the castle's glorious past and its bloody betrayals. Dorian's gaze traced the embroidered faces of fallen soldiers, his expression unreadable. "Neither did I. But some bonds are too strong to break." Evelina shivered, but it was not from the cold. Their eyes met, and the air thickened with a tension that was part sorrow, part longing, and part unspoken desire. "Tell me, Dorian, how do I make amends for sending you to your deaths? For breaking every promise?" He stepped closer, his ethereal form brushing against her skin, sending a thrilling shiver through her body. "You start by facing us, truly seeing us, not as ghosts, but as the men we were, men who loved you, trusted you, and now wait for justice." Her breath caught. The weight of his words settled deep within her heart. Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the hall, extinguishing the candles and plunging them into darkness. A chorus of whispers rose around them, voices of the betrayed soldiers, swirling with grief and fury. "Evelina," they moaned, "will you hear us?" Dorian took her trembling hand in his. "I will protect you." A warmth bloomed between them as his touch ignited a fire she thought long extinguished. Slowly, their lips met in a desperate kiss, an embrace that spoke of forgiveness, regret, and an aching need to reclaim what was lost. The castle seemed to pulse with life, the very walls echoing their passion. But beneath the beauty of the moment lurked a darker truth. The soldier's revenge was not yet sated, and Evelina's journey to redemption was far from over. In the depths of the shadowed halls, other spirits stirred, their anger more fierce, their hunger for justice more insatiable. As Evelina and Dorian clung to each other, the castle itself seemed to watch and wait for the final reckoning. The castle had never felt so alive, or so suffocating. Evelina's heartbeat echoed in the cold stone corridors as she and Dorian stood at the threshold of the castle's ancient crypt, where the souls of the betrayed soldiers were said to be bound. The flickering torchlight barely pierced the thick shadows, and the air hung heavy with centuries of anguish. "Here," Dorian whispered, "is where the line between life and death blurs, where your betrayal anchors their unrest." Evelina swallowed the lump rising in her throat and stepped forward. Each footfall was a reminder of the promises she had broken, the lives she had condemned. Around her, the whispers grew louder, more urgent, voices weaving together in a haunting chorus of sorrow and accusation. Suddenly, the walls seemed to breathe, stone cracking as ghostly figures emerged. Warriors in tattered armor, faces twisted by pain yet illuminated with ethereal glow. They surrounded Evelina, their eyes burning with a mixture of hatred and longing. "Why did you forsake us?" A voice boomed from the shadows, the spectral form of a once loyal captain materializing before her. Evelina's voice trembled but was steady. "I was blinded by fear and ambition. I thought I could save the castle by sacrificing you all." The captain's ghost stepped closer, cold as the grave. "You sent us to die, yet we remain, bound not by death, but by your guilt." From the crowd, Dorian's figure advanced. "There is a way to end this," he said, his voice resonating with both sorrow and hope. "Only through true atonement. Only through love and sacrifice." Evelina's eyes met Dorian's, and in that moment, she understood. To free the spirits, she would have to offer more than words. She would have to surrender her soul. The castle shook as a chilling wind swept through, and the spirits' wails rose in a crescendo that rattled the very foundation. Shadows twisted and reached out like grasping hands, wrapping around Evelina, pulling her toward the abyss. Dorian caught her, holding her tight as spectral chains began to coil around them both. "I will not leave you," he vowed, their love transcending mortal and ghostly realms. With a fierce cry, Evelina summoned every ounce of will, confessing her deepest regrets and begging for forgiveness, not just from the spirits, but from herself. The spectral soldiers closed in, their forms blurring into a brilliant, blinding light that enveloped the pair. When the light faded, the crypt was silent. Evelina lay motionless on the cold floor, her body pale, but her spirit unbound. Dorian's ghost was gone, freed at last, his final smile etched with love and peace. But the castle was forever changed. The whispers faded into silence, replaced by an eerie calm. Yet deep within the shadows, a new presence stirred, a dark, unseen watcher born from the remnants of betrayal and sorrow. Evelina rose slowly, her eyes reflecting both the pain of loss and the spark of something eternal, a haunting reminder that love and vengeance are often two sides of the same ghostly coin. As the castle's gates creaked closed behind her, she knew the story was not truly over. For in every shadow, every corner of that ancient fortress, the past waits, ready to rise again, and the night holds its breath.